Well, as we enter in another new year here, I trust that you've all been able to put everything away and get back to normal here. And as we enter in the 2019 part of the NHL regular season here, I'm going to make sure I'll feed Johnny Gaudreau on the breakaway or find Mark Jankowski while we're short-handed here. Anyway, it's time for another episode of... Hi there, it's Brett Hornby here. Welcome to another episode of my Calgary Flames in 6. We're up to episode number 8 here as we approach the halfway point of the regular season, the 2018-19 regular season here, as we wrap up the first half and look ahead to the second half of the regular season here. But right now we should look at some news items here first. As on January 1st, the league announced that there'll be some more outdoor games coming ahead for next season, and the Calgary Flames will be playing in another Heritage Classic here, as we'll be taking on the Winnipeg Jets here. 29 Heritage Classic will happen on Saturday, October 26th, but it will actually be played at Mosaic Stadium in Regina, where the Saskatchewan Roughriders will play. So definitely be interesting to see how kind of fan support we get, both Flames and Jets. I mean, when it comes to the CFL here, Calgary and Winnipeg are the most disliked teams when it comes to Rider fans, but yeah, we'll see how many fans make the trip for both sides, and also, you know, the Calgary Stampeders are actually playing in Winnipeg the day before there, so I'm hoping to possibly make another trip there and be able to catch both games. So stay tuned for that. And then when it comes to the All-Star Game, which is on Saturday, January the 20. Yeah, let's look at the calendar here. The 26th here is it's in San Jose here, and actually Bill Peters has been named as head coach for the Pacific Division team, and Johnny Gaudreau has been named to the Pacific Division team. And one thing the NHL has done to keep the voting going is that you can still vote one last man in for each division here, and you can still vote in Mark Giordano for the All-Star Game to play in the Pacific Division, and hopefully he can get in. He's definitely had a great season and a Norris Trophy-like season here, and we'll see how it goes here. I mean, it's still going to be the Pond Hockey 3-on-3 tournament here, and you know, it's in San Jose, so there's definitely a lot more Shark players there going here, but you know, it's definitely just for the corporations in the city itself. I mean, it's the All-Star Game is, you know, it is what it is, but that's definitely some Flames news here. So let's get going on recapping the past 6 games here and look ahead to the next 6 games here as I open up, or as the question I asked in episode 7 here is, do we consider the Calgary Flames Stanley Cup contenders here? And right now, I mean, despite not doing as well in this past segment here, but you know, the Flames are still up there in the top teams in the West and within the league here, and you know, I think you're getting closer to saying that this team there, you know, considered champions or contenders and maybe have what it takes to become Stanley Cup champions here. And you know, hopefully we can maybe get some revenge on one particular team in the East that's definitely running away with it all right now. So but that's, you know, still a few months down the road here. We're only halfway through the season here, so anyway, let's start recapping the past 6 games here. So if you go back to Game 37, which happened on Saturday, December 22nd, we took on the St. Louis Blues here at the Scotiabank Saddledome. It was a 7 p.m. or a 2 p.m. puck drop here for an afternoon game, and it was definitely a little bit of a letdown after the Tampa Bay game as we dropped this one 3-1. I mean, David Perron led the way with the St. Louis Blues with a goal and assist, and Matthew Tkachuk was the only Flame that scored in that game. It was 2-1 St. Louis after one, and And then the Blues scored their go-ahead goal early in the third period here. And another way to sum it up here is that Jake Allen, the goalie for the St. Louis Blues, he looked strong in this particular game. I mean, he's been up and down all season here, and also the St. Louis Blues were looked at as one of the teams that they were going to rebound after literally missing the playoffs on the last day of the regular season last year. And Mike Smith, he didn't look so good in this particular game on a few plays, but that seems to be the reoccurring theme here. So the Flames unfortunately had a little bit of a letdown going into Christmas here, but after Christmas, Game 38 on Thursday, December the 27th, the Flames definitely had a better game as they went on the road to the Bell TS Center and took on the Winnipeg Jets here. That's definitely one of the teams that are favored to get out of the West here this year, and the Calgary Flames won that one 4-1 here. You can definitely sum it up with two players here. Johnny Gaudreau had the hat trick in this game, and David Riddick had a very strong performance in that with 35 saves. That's how you can sum this one up. I mean, there was no scoring in the first period here, but the Calgary Flames were outshot 14-7 here, and definitely looked better in the second and third periods here with Johnny Gaudreau leading away with the hat trick. And the other player to note here is that Alan Quine, who has been called up for the last couple of weeks. He actually got sent back to Stockton here. I know he was just signed as a depth forward here, but I think he had one player he had an upsie on and was sent down here. But players are starting to get healthy as well. So that was Game 38. Game 39, Saturday, December the 29th, the Calgary Flames took on the Vancouver Canucks. That was at the Scotiabank Saddledome, an 8 p.m. puck drop, Hockey Night in Canada. I actually personally took that game in live, and I'm going to say I was a little disappointed with it overall. I mean, we lost that game 3-2 in overtime, but to sum it up here, I mean, Calgary did look strong in that first half of the game, and but we seemed to let up after in the second half of the game, and Jacob Markstrom definitely had a strong game. He had 31 saves overall, and both goals that the Calgary Flames scored actually were shorthanded, and the Flames definitely looked threatening when we're down a man, actually. Both Mark Jankowski on a breakaway afterward. Noah Fanafin was on a breakaway, and then Mark Jankowski buried the rebound, and Travis Hamnick had a 2-1, and he shot it stick side of Markstrom. So those are the two Flame goals here. Actually, the Flames actually led 2-1 at one point in the second period in this game, and then rookie for the Vancouver Canucks, Elias Pettersson, he blasted one over David Riddick where the puck literally went in and out, and it was tied at 2 there, and then there was no scoring in the third period, and eventually when it came to overtime here, Calgary had some good chances, but were stopped, but then Alexander Edler eventually won it for the Vancouver Canucks in overtime here to at least salvage a point. But the Vancouver Canucks, I mean, if you're kind of fan of them, they definitely have overachieved this year. I think the big thing is Elias Pettersson's had a strong rookie season, and Jacob Markstrom, he's definitely playing a lot better than what he suspected. And this team's still rebuilding, but they're still exciting to watch if you're a fan of the Canucks. And then the other thing to highlight with this game is that Dylan Dubé actually got called back up from Stockton, and he played for the Flames that game. So Dylan Dubé, after opening the opening day roster, got sent down last month, had a point-a-game pace there, but now he's back with the team, and he actually looked strong at some points in that game and looked like he was more confident after having some seasoning in Stockton, and didn't play on any specialty teams, but he did definitely make some plays and had some shots here. So Game 40 was New Year's Eve on Monday, December the 31st. Maybe I should have decided to go to this game better over the Vancouver game, because this game was definitely a lot more wild and entertaining, and has gotten everybody looking forward to the next game on February 7th here. This was at the Scotiabank Saddledome, 7 p.m. puck drop here, and there was definitely a lot of offense here because it was a 8-5 win for the Calgary Flames here. Sean Monahan led the way with 5 assists, and then Johnny Gaudreau and Matt Tkachuk each had 2 goals and 2 assists each. Elias Lindholm had a goal and 2 assists. And let's not forget guys like Michael Backlund with 2 goals and Michael Frolik, who had 2 assists here. He actually responded after being healthy scratched the game before, but he's still dealing with nagging injuries too, so that's why he's been in and out of the lineup. Heck, even James Neal, the big real deal, the guy that we signed in the offseason, was able to get his goal, and it was definitely his first goal in almost 2 months, but it won't have to skate, but hopefully maybe this would finally get him going, and maybe he can still score 20 goals. But I still have a feeling that James Neal could be big for the Flames here in the playoffs, because he's definitely provided some playoff experience, and he's been to the finals the last 2 years, but he's been on the wrong end of the Cup finals, but saying that he thought this team is close to being contenders, and I'm starting to say that too, Maybe he'll be on the right end of the Stanley Cup this year. Can only dream right now. But San Jose had some big games too. Let's not discount what they did. I mean, Jonas Donskoy had 2 goals for the Sharks here. Brent Burns had a goal and assist, and Evander Kane and Erik Karlsson had 2 assists each here. And then that's all the offense as far as the story here. But things definitely got silly here in the third period, and there were definitely some fights, some game misconducts dished out. Aaron Dell was in net for the San Jose Sharks in this game. Former Hitman Martin Jones didn't start, but Aaron Dell was in for all 8 goals. But one thing he did is, for some reason, he decided to spear Sam Bennett when he came in front of him and speared him. And believe it or not, there was no call here. And then there were definitely lots of fights here because Matt Tkachuk and Rasmus Andersson, this all happened in the last minute of the game here, gave his cause for fighting against Evander Kane, because Evander Kane was also banging around for taking hits on Elias Lindholm and Noah Hanifin. And also Barclay Goodrow was also another targeted guy here because he some high hits here. And then after, when those guys got, game stopped at penalties, Sam Bennett, he had a high hit on Radim Smeek. And then eventually Barclay Goodrow took exception to that and fought him. And, he definitely took the instigator penalty there. But, there were definitely a lot of fights here to end the game here. And, this Pacific Division battle is on. It's for real here. So, let's say, looking forward to the February 7th game to see what happens when the Flames and Sharks meet each other again and see where each side sits in the standings here. So anyway, after that game, they go on a 4-game road trip here, starting in Game 41, Wednesday, January the 2nd. The Calgary Flames took on the Detroit Red Wings at the Little Caesars Arena. 5 p.m. puck drop here. Actually, the Flames won this game 5-3 here, but David Riddick had a little injury. He was out day to day, so Mike Stips started in the net, and they called up John Gillies from the farm here, but Smith started here. It started off a slow start here because the Detroit Red Wings were up 2-0 here, and then actually Oliver Shillington got awarded a penalty shot, but didn't score on that, so it was 2-0 Detroit after the first period here. Keep in mind the Detroit Red Wings are definitely rebuilding right now, and they're much lower in the Eastern Conference here. So this was looked at as a game that Calgary should be able to take some points out of this one, and if we're going to consider ourselves contenders here. But then we looked better in the second and third period here as the Calgary outscored Detroit 3-1 in the second to tie the game at 3, and then we put it away in the third period here with 2 more goals. Once again, Johnny Gaudreau, another big game, goal and 3 assists, and Elias Lindholm had a goal and 2 assists. Sean Monahan also had a goal and assist too for the Calgary Flames. for the guy that stood up for the Detroit Red Wings, Andreas Anissau, led the Red Wings with 1 goal and assist. And despite the slow start, I mean, Smith actually looked strong with the 29 save performance after the first period here. Jimmy Howard counted with 30 saves for the Detroit Red Wings here. And then the last game on the 6-game segment to start off the second half of the regular season, because it's an 82-game season here. The Calgary Flames the next night on Thursday, January the 3rd, went to TD Garden for the 5 p.m. puck drop to take on the Boston Bruins here. It's the second of back-to-back nights, and Boston was also coming off their big win in the 2019 Winter Classic here, and they figured this was going to be a tough one for the Calgary Flames, and in fact it was, because we lost this one 6-4 here. I mean, Calgary did actually look strong in the first period here, but then got into some penalty trouble here. They were down 5-3, but actually scored the first goal here because Michael Frolik took the first penalty here, and Mark Jankowski had a little bit of a breakaway, took a shot on that, and then Jaroslav Halak gave out a rebound that Michael Frolik buried after he was in the penalty box. So Calgary scored their 13th shorthanded goal of the season, and that leads the NHL here. So Boston scored 2 quick goals late in the first period, so it was 2-1 Boston after 1. And then Elias Lindholm for the Flames scored early to tie it up, and then right away Boston immediately took the lead again, and then they got into penalty trouble in the second period where they were down 5-3, but the Calgary Flames did not capitalize, and they went to the third period here, and we kept answering back when Boston kept scoring the goal-ahead goal, but it definitely was proven to be too much, because it was 5-3 Boston after the 13-minute mark of the third period here. We did make it 5-4 here, but Boston sealed it with an empty netter goal to win it 6-4 here. And once again on back-to-back nights here, Mike Smith was still rewarded with the start again, but he definitely looks suspect on a couple of goals, especially 2 deep in net here. But word is that David Riddick is feeling a little better and should be able to start the next game on this road trip here. So I'm going to say Jaroslav Halak also was definitely a factor on why we couldn't come back in the third period here. I mean, the Flames did outshoot the Bruins 37-27 overall, including 16-7 in the third period here. To highlight, offensive numbers here, Johnny Gaudreau still had a goal and assist, and Noah Hanifin had 2 assists to lead away for Calgary. But Boston had a few players that stood out. Brad Marchand, everyone's favorite villain, and Jake DeBrusk had 2 goals each. Patrice Bergeron, David Krejci, Torrey Krug had 2 assists each, and then David Pastrnak had a goal and assist in this game. So Boston's offense proved to be too much for the Calgary Flames here. So we did collect 7 out of possible 12 points on this in the segment here. I mean, we still won against some good teams, but then we seem to drop some of these games here. So overall, the Calgary Flames are 25-13-4 for 54 points here. Still puts them first in the Pacific Division here, and we are first in the Western Conference, but I should highlight that the Winnipeg Jets, they're 2 points behind us with 3 games in hand here. I mean, everybody eventually plays their 82 games here, but that's definitely the story where the standings are right now. So if I'll bring up some stats here for the Calgary Flames here. So here, let's bring up the stats here. So who's leading the team right now and for the Calgary Flames here? Just bear with me here. And so yeah, right now Johnny Gaudreau is leading the Flames with 61 points. That's his 23 goals, 38 assists and then second in the scoring is Sean Monahan in 42 games. He has 51 points for 22 goals, 29 assists, and third in 42 games, Career highs already for Elias Lindholm. He has 20 goals, 28 assists here, and then Matt Tkachuk in 42 games. He has 47 goal points for 18 goals, 29 assists. And then around the top 5 in 40 games, Mark Giordano has 39 points, 6 goals, and 33 assists here, which is definitely, should put him in the nod for Norris Trophy candidates here. And then when it comes to, I'll just say the goaltending here, David Riddick's goals against average is .239 versus Mike Smith's .309. And save percentage, David Riddick is .920 while Mike Smith is .886 here. And also wins, Riddick has 13 and Smith has 12. Smith's either been very hot or cold, while Riddick has definitely been steady here. So then when it comes to the power play, the Flames are actually right now 14th in the league with 21.2%. Penalty kill, the Flames are around the 19th with 78.5%. And then when it comes to shots per game, we're actually 4th in the league at 28.5, so we're still strong defensively here. And then when it comes to face-off win percentages, we're actually tied for 2nd in the league with the Toronto Maple Leafs at 52.5%, so that's definitely some big quick statistical numbers here. And when it comes to injuries here, still both Michael Stone and Yusuf Valimaki on defense. General manager said the other day there that neither one of these guys are close to returning anytime soon, so these injuries must be a lot more serious than we thought here, but Calgary's definitely been doing fine with the bottom two, with 2 rookies, with Rasmus Anderson and Oliver Shillington, and occasionally Dalton Prout draws in for Shillington if you want to add a little more muscle to the lineup here. So anyway, let's look ahead to the next 6 games, which will be episode 9 of this, my Calgary Flames in 6. Game 43, which is Saturday, January 5th. The Calgary Flames are at the Philadelphia Flyers at the Wells Fargo Center, which is 11 a.m. puck drop here. So as of recording this, this game is about to start. Game 44, Monday, January the 7th. The Calgary Flames are at the Chicago Blackhawks United Center for the 6:30 p.m. puck drop. And then they come home here for 5 games here. Game 45, Wednesday, January the 9th. The Colorado Avalanche come to the Scotiabank Saddledome with a 7:30 p.m. puck drop. And then Friday, January the 11th, the Florida Panthers come to town with the 7 p.m. puck drop at the Scotiabank Saddledome. Game 47, Sunday, January the 13th, the Arizona Coyotes come to town with the 7:30 puck drop at the Scotiabank Saddledome. And then to wrap up this next segment, which will be episode 9, Game 48, Wednesday, January 16th, the Calgary Flames take on the Buffalo Sabres, and that game starts at 7:30 at the Scotiabank Saddledome here. So I'm still going to say this team is still rolling all cylinders here, and we're still going to have to say we're still have to be more strongly be considered Stanley Cup contenders here, especially in the wide open West here. And I think if either Mike Smith ever finds his game, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. If we get a depth forward, or James Neal gets going, or I also wouldn't be surprised if Calgary eventually upgrades a net in case anything happens to David Riddick here, because basically it's his net to run with right now, and he's looked good, but you need that insurance. But that's definitely my Calgary Flames in 6 here. If you enjoy everything I do on my YouTube channel, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and follow my other Calgary sports content here. And as I always say, I'll see you in the next video.